Hey J-Stars, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Gaana, but I post everything under the sun from lifestyle, skin, beauty, fashion, and now finance. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon, and I'm sure you can find something for yourself here. So without any further ado, let's get started. So today's topic is going to be how to save money and make more money. I know this is the most requested topic on my page, so I figured why not do a series or one-part video, and we'll take it from there if you guys are more interested in deep dive, because here I'm just going to be giving you guys an overview, roadmap, and how can you get started. So if this is something that interests you, grab a cup of coffee, snack, and enjoy the video. So before I begin this video, I just want to give a disclaimer that this video is for someone who does not know how to handle their money, or does not have a finance background, and they have been quite reckless, or just don't know how and where to begin. We all have been there, and at least I have been there. Nobody to teach me as to how to save money. It's more of a trial and error method that I've learned, so it's not a concrete or something that a finance person would agree. I'm hoping this is more relatable to you, and it will not be like a rocket science, because this is trial and tested, and this kind of works with me, and I'm hoping to share with you guys, and I'm hoping you find something here and you'll get a better perspective at the end of the video on how can you get started, how can you declutter your mind with all the finance related questions, and have a roadmap for yourself. So if this interests you, then stay tuned. I will put all the detailed description of each topic and the timings in the description, and also all the apps that I'm talking about here will be linked below, so you can check the description. So first, let's see what could be the top 5 mistakes you could be making on why you're not saving money or making more money. 1, it could be you're an impulsive buyer. 2, you might not have a budget. 3, you might be living paycheck to paycheck. 4, you could not be investing. And 5, you do not know what to do when you have surplus amount of money. So now that we have seen the top 5 mistakes that you could be making, let me also give you the top 5 ways of how you could be making more money before we get started on saving money. So the first one could be that you should always have a solid source of income. Make sure that there is some money that's flowing into your bank account all the time. And the second one is you can have investments. So investments could be of stocks or mutual funds, and this is the way you can get your money to work for you even while you're asleep. And the third one could be freelancing with any of your technical skills or your hobby or passion. And the fourth one, affiliates. You can join affiliates where there are many brands which offer affiliates where you get some part of commission, you get them sales and you get commission. So affiliate is a great source of income. And the fifth one is managing your money in terms of your credit cards or cashbacks, and where you have a necessity to spend but also a way to get your money back. So now let's go deep dive into each one of these, and let's see how to get started. You guys are too excited to know about the stocks and mutual funds and how to make more money out of it, but my friend once told me that you should never be emotional with money, and I think that's one of the best advice I've got, because we usually tend to be over jumpy, or we just want to get started when it's about making money or saving money without giving it a lot of thought. But then we need to have a concrete plan. We have to understand our budget, we need to understand our income, and based on that we have to go to stocks and mutual fund and take it further. So when it comes to finances, the key is to have patience and to be persistent, and the consistency. So first, let me tell you guys about budgeting. Budgeting plays a key role. The reason being, the minute you have an idea of how much you earn and what are your expenses and everything else, you have the rest figured out. And at least if not figured out, you will have an idea of how much money is needed to backfill and to have a smooth sailing. So now this one, the point that I'm going to be talking about, is mainly for people who have monthly salaries and fixed income. So if you have fixed income, what you could be doing is you can follow the 50, 30, 20% rule. So the 50% goes to your needs, and needs will be something like your house EMI, it could be your rent, it could be gas, it could be utilities, it could be electricity, Wi-Fi, and all those needs. So the 30% would be your wants, and wants would be ranging from grocery shopping, your dining, travel, and the rest of your leisurely stuff. And the 20% needs to go into investing. So now the initial days, if you feel that your needs, that is your EMI and rest of the portion is high, then you might have to take a little bit of cut into your wants. You might have to cut a dip into that and put it into your needs. So that is one of the ways how you can get started with your 50-30-20 rule, which is a well-known rule. But if this is not something that's going to work out for you, because this does not work out for me all the time, so what I do usually is that, there's, if you're an employed person, you usually have that 1 month of the year where you get your bonus or your stocks or whatever that your company is offering. So that's usually a lump sum amount. So whenever you have some lump sum money, or you have an idea of the amount of excess money that you have, a month of the year, it could be March, considering that's the end of the financial year. So what you can do is you can plan for the rest of the year as to what is your fixed set of expenses. It could be rent or EMI. Say you have 50,000 EMI into 12, and that's the amount that is needed for the entire year, and you have an idea about the Wi-Fi, you have an idea about all the fixed known recurring expenses. So list it down, and you have a value of what that money is needed for that current year. The second one, you should have a little wiggle room for unexpected expenses. It could be like hospitalization, or it could be times like Corona where there's no fixed set of income. So you need to have some kind of expense that's going to go away from your bank account. So you need to plan for that. Have a ballpark figure for that and list it down. So apart from the known expenses and unknown expenses, also you need to start budgeting for your monthly expenditure. So now the monthly expenditure would still be from the 50-30-20 rule, where you're going to have a rough idea of how much are you allowed to shop, how much are you allowed to travel, how much are you allowed to spend on grocery and XYZ items. So this will give you a rough figure of how much you're allowed to spend the entire year and also the month. So now when you are spending through the month, you have a slight reminder at the back of your mind as you're slowly exceeding the budget. So now if at all you end up exceeding, you also need to make up twice or thrice more to backfill and also to invest. So this is one of the tips that I would suggest in terms of budgeting. Now that we have budgeting figured out, now let's go to stocks, the most awaited part of the video, I believe. To get started with stocks, you should understand the fact that you can start with as simple as 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or whatever is your threshold for taking a loss. So the reason being, when you're entering stocks, you should also understand that this is a money that can double, triple, or n folds, or also you could lose that amount of money. So when you're going to start with stocks, I would first suggest you start budgeting, see if you have room for taking any sort of loss, and if you're able to have the threshold for the loss, then you can get into stocks. Now to get started, to get the confidence, I would suggest start with as simple as 1,000 rupees, and you can play around, see if you're making money, get a hang of it, then take the higher risk of probably doubling or tripling your money that can go into stocks. But if you are already aware of stocks and if you have a slightly higher threshold, I would suggest keep anywhere between 20,000 to 1 lakh, because that's the amount that gives you decent returns per month if you're not going to do intra-trading, and if you're going to have like short-term goals, and if you're going to get more money out of the money that you're investing, then 20,000 to 1 lakh is a great amount to start. But if you are a complete newbie and you barely have any money to get started, 1,000 is still a great money where you will still see a little bit of profit, but it's still good enough for you to test the waters. So now what do I do for stocks is I use I use an app called as Zerodha. So now usually for stocks you need a Demat account, and when you go to the Zerodha portal, it is quite self-explanatory, where you have to do your KYC, you need to pay some, I believe, 250 or 350 rupees as an AMC fee, and also that'll get you an account. And once you have a trader's account, then you get into the app called as Kite, which is going to help you with all the trading. Again, as I mentioned, stocks is a very risky business, so I would suggest keep just 1,000 rupees aside. So probably from your monthly budget that you've set aside for shopping, probably just pull out 1,000 rupees. Maybe don't shop anything for that 1 month, and think it's a money that's gone. If at all you lose, the mindset that you should have is you went out shopping and you've just spent it in a mall and you were not going to get it back. So start with that attitude, keep 1,000 or 2,000 aside, test the waters, see how is it doing for you, then slightly increase. Now when you're starting stocks, you might be having questions as to which stock should I invest in, how long should I be in it, when should I exit, and those are the basic questions that you'll end up getting. Trust me, till date I do not know most of the stocks. So what I usually do is Apart from the well-known companies, usually well-known companies stocks are already doing great, and they might be somewhere between 500 to 1000 rupees per share, and it might not be great for beginners. You can always look at NSE top 100 small cap. So when you're talking about stocks and trading and mutual funds, you have small cap, mid cap, and large cap. So when you're going to start off with stocks, I would suggest go to moneycontrol.com, and you have various links and a lot of articles and news and everything related to stocks. And there is also a page which shows you the NSE top 100 small cap, mid cap, and large. And you can start off with the 100. And now here is the catch. Take some stock which is less than 20 rupees. These small caps sometimes can have like 20% increase in their day-to-day trading, and this will still give you decent profit, and it will give you some kind of confidence to get going in stock. But I would suggest that the minute you figure out your stock, make sure that you study about the company, see their latest news, check what is their earnings, and check their quarterly, yearly, 6 months earnings, see how are they doing. Find out there is something called as 52-week low and 52-week high. So that will be a good starting point for you to see how has this stock been doing the entire year. Is this the right time to invest, and is this the right time to exit? So as I suggested, don't go into invest in it as soon as you see and figure out, okay, this is the stock that I'm going to be investing in. Don't go right in. Stay calm, stay patient, read news related to it. Why is it that they're getting more stocks, or if a stock is constantly going, probably keep a week's time for you to research. So now that 1 week, see how is the price fluctuating between 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., 9:15 to 3:30 p.m. the trading hours. See how often does it fluctuate. Does it go too high? Does it go too low? Just have a pattern. Just keep a tab of how the pattern is, and you can have a rough idea of that's a stock that's good for you. And that's when you will have an idea of what the news is. Why is it going up? Why is it going down? Is this the right time to invest? And the key here is not to get greedy. So now if you've invested in a stock, make sure that you also exit at the right time, unless you have a long-term goal. If you're having a short-term goal and not an intraday goal, make sure that you exit when you see 15 to 20% increase in the amount that you have invested. So the minute you see 15 to 20, make sure you exit, and you can always re-enter when the stock goes low. Do not try and be greedy, and that's a mistake that most of us do, especially in the stock market. We see something going up and we just want to be in it. But that's one of the most common mistakes that I still do, and that's a reminder for me as well. The minute you see 15 to 20 is a decent amount of profit that you have made, exit, and you can always re-enter. And the app details I'll provide below. So the next one would be mutual funds. So these are the ways where your money would be working for you even while you're asleep. So again, now if you do not have the threshold for the loss in stocks, the mutual funds is still a great way for you to get started. I would suggest an app that's called as ET Money. That's something that I've been using for almost 2 to 3 years now, and I think it's a wonderful app, especially for beginners who have zero idea about finances or mutual funds or any technicalities of the stock or all these mutual funds. That's a great app which again, it's very intuitive. It gives you various options. Again, you will have to do your KYC, you need to create your account, you need to give your bank details, PAN card details, etc. Once you get started, once you have your account there, all that it'll ask you a set of questions as to do you want a short-term goal or a long-term goal, how aggressive can your investment be, and what is your the threshold. So what's the threshold for taking a loss or a profit? Is it going to be aggressive, or is it mid, or is it low? So you can choose various options that it has, investment low risk, high investment high risk, and all the permutation and combination of that. So what I would suggest is, when you have a stock, I usually prefer the government funds, because that has been consistent in giving me returns, as well as it's not very risky. So what I would do is, when I pick a mutual fund, I would see what is the lifespan of this fund and how has it been doing in the past 3, 5, 7, 11 year goal, and how does it do they have any exit penalty, do they have any dividends? So there are a lot of things, and the app that I've been saying is quite intuitive again. So if you go to it, it gives you a various depth of information which you can read. Always research. Again, mutual fund is as risky as stock. The money that you give in might not come back the same way. So you should always make sure this is a disposable amount of money. Start small, gain knowledge, gain experience, and only then step up and increase your money. I've spoken about budgeting, investing. Now comes the side income where you can do freelancing such as blogging, brand commercials, or whatever that works best for you. Always never let your talent go for a waste. Find out what is that one thing that is keeping you happy. It could be dance, it could be TikTok, it could be anything. Whatever that you're making, try and make some money out of it, but don't do it to a point that you're no longer happy. Happiness still matters the most. So if you feel that your passion can mint you some money, you should not feel guilty about it, and always it's a great idea to have a second set of income apart from your fixed set of income, because you never know what sort of financial situation you'll be thrown in. So having multiple sources of income is always good. Apart from side source of income based on your hobby and passion, there are also affiliate brands. That is, there are brands which give you some sort of commission, like 10%, 15%, 20% based on the sales that you get them. So you can just randomly Google. There are a lot of brands that give you affiliate work. So you can just sign up for yourself and you can get started with that. That's a great way to earn a little bit of money. We have covered all 4 ways of making money, and I've not forgotten the last one, which is your money management. So you already know that you're going to be spending money on your shopping, travel, blah blah blah. So how is that you can get cashbacks? One is a very obvious choice these days, that you have Google Pay, Amazon Pay that gives you cashbacks, and the second one would be credit cards. I would prefer don't use debit cards, because one, using credit card also gives you a good credit history. So when you have to ask for a loan, it's going to give you good enough CIBIL score report. This is for folks in India. So this is going to give you good CIBIL report, and your credit cycle will be great and the history will be great. So getting a loan will be easier. And also make sure that the credit card utilization is not a lot. Clear your debts well before the balance due date. So that's a main thing. And apart from that, you choose credit cards. Now if you're a travel person, pick out credit cards. There are great credit cards from American Express Extra. I'll link a few below that I personally use, and I know that these are the cards that give you great reward points that can be utilized as a travel voucher, or it can be redeemed against your statement balance, and that works great in terms like I get about 6,000 to 10,000 cash back just with my American Express cards. And apart from that, I also have an Amazon ICICI card. Again, I'll link that up below, which not just gives me 5% cashback on everything that I purchase on Amazon, but it also gives me a monthly cashback. So these are great ways to utilize your credit cards while you're spending, and also while you're clearing the debts. There is an app called as Cred. Again, I'll link it up in the description. You can use it. What this does is, this app, while you're clearing out your dues, it also gives you some cash back in terms of rewards. So these are the ways where you can make some cash back for your known expenses that you would anyway be spending. So this brings me to the end of the video, where I have spoken to you guys about the mistakes, the way you can save, the way you can make more money. I hope this was helpful and I did not overwhelm you guys. I try to keep it very simple and just give you like a roadmap on how you can get started. But if there is anything in particular that you want me to talk in depth, let me know in the comment section and I'll be very happy to make a video for you. So until I see you the next time, stay happy and stay blessed. Bye bye.